Hey, Shalom, Shalom, Shalom. This is your brother Quadar of GMS Gulf Coast, and I'd like to start by giving infinite honor and praise to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah Quadash. Double honors are given up to the elder apostles of Great Millstone, men who have labored and suffered in this truth for over 30 years, making their lives and their bodies a living sacrifice. As well as Shalom goes out to the bishops, the elders, the heads of camps, Great Millstone by and large, as well as men not named GMS, but walking one body, one spirit in Yahweh Shai, preaching and teaching the 100% truth, as well as calling on the names Yahweh, Yahweh Shai. And last but not least, a Shalom goes out to the hopefully elected 1/3 of the nation of Israel, scattered throughout the four winds of planet Earth, from north, south, east, and west, which consists of men, women, and children in that order. To you all, Shalom. Subject matter of this video: why must the Edomite pay? And he's going to pose that question himself, as you're going to see in one of these little short clips. Shalaki, let me start by saying, Lord willing, this be edifying. And this video is being done on educational purposes only. Lord willing, it be edifying to feed the lambs of Yahweh, Yahweh Shai. Now, subject matter: why must the Edomite pay? Because in his criminal justice system, in his laws, statutes, and commandments, quote unquote, he has what you call look at this statute of limitations, definition, types, and examples. Why must he pay? Well, let's delve into it, shall we? What is a statute of limitations? A statute of limitations is a law that defines the maximum amount of time in which parties involved in a dispute must initiate legal proceedings following an alleged offense. The duration of a statute of limitations varies depending, it varies depending on the nature of the offense and the location of the jurisdiction. So it depends on the nature of the offense and the jurisdiction. So let's go read on. It says the law applies to both civil and criminal cases. So in both instances, whether it be civil, between two parties trying to settle a civil matter, marital issues, land, things of that nature, that, talking about money, talking about. The law applies both with a civil and a criminal cases. In criminal cases, you go into what you call a circuit court, where you got the, you deal with felonies and whatnot, More serious offenses, such as, here we go, murder or war crimes, often have no statute of limitations. Why must the so-called white man, whose biblical nationality is Esau, Edom, why must he pay? Because even in his own law, more serious offenses such as murder or war crimes, and he has done plenty of that, deleting people all over the planet, colonizing, pushing agendas. And we are prisoners of war. The so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans been chased throughout all four corners of the planet Earth, as the Lord has dispersed us to. When you get in some of the old treaties, and they escape my memory now, when the Pope, back in the 1600s, 1500s, 1400s, was signing these treaties and whatnot, these different treaties, there was one of them in particular, I was just, as it flashed in my memory, they were giving the conquistadors and the missionaries and And the explorers were given the task or given the rights that anyone that wasn't a so-called quote-unquote Christian could fall by the sword, quote unquote. So, as it says again, it says more serious offenses such as murder or war crimes often have no statute of limitation. It's also applied in civil law to matters like consumer debt. See, that's going into money, whether debt becomes time-bearing debt after the statute of limitation has passed. So what do you think the IRS is? They can chase you from here into infinite time as long as they're in power. And they have a new law now that if you owe the IRS, your tax debt interest is being added to it every day. So what you owe yesterday and what you owe today, and what you owe today and what you're gonna owe tomorrow. See that? It says it's also applied in civil law to matters like consumer debt. Are you not a consumer? Huh? I mean, it's right here in black and white. Are you not a consumer? Where the debt becomes time-beared debt after the statute of limitation has passed. Let's see. Key takeouts. The statute of limitation sets a deadline for initiating legal proceedings in a dispute. The length of time allowed varies depending upon the severity of the offense. So it's really in the hands of who's dispersing the law, who's prosecuting. What it goes to the discretion of the one who's making the accusation, who has the power to wield the accusation to bring it to court. It says the length of time varies depending on the severity of the offenses. That's in the eyes of the beholder, as well as the jurisdiction where it is being disputed. Cases involving severe crimes like murder typically have no time limit. He wrote this. Why must he pay? He wrote this. You understand? We're going to get to it in just a minute. Under international law, crimes against humanity, war crimes, and genocide have no statute of limitation. Have not we been genocide? The Atlantic slave trade. One of the brothers was at camp, was bringing out that point. I believe Brother Caracas was bringing out that point. As we was forced to come over here to America, man, there was a lot of shenanigans going on those slave ships, being packed in like sardines and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Some of our ancestors and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? They were tossed overboard, man. It was a lot of shenanigans going on. So much to the fact that a lot of them was tossed overboard or jumped overboard or whatever the case may be, that the sharks now today still follow that old slave route because of the food. We was being dumped out in the ocean like food. Try to genocide people, man. Anyway, proponents of the statutes of limitation believe they are needed because with the passage of time, important evidence may be lost and memories of witnesses can grow foggy. See that? Important evidence, and our memories have been made foggy. But the Lord has awakened us in the land of our captivity to remember who we are, to put it upon the spirit of Israelite men, beginning with our apostle elders and our bishops, to research these things. You know what I'm talking about? To find these things out and bring it to the light, to unfog our memories, to bring forth the evidence of his crimes against humanity, against the Lord's people. Now, let's go back to our picture.
As I speak, I'm going. Please forgive us. As I speak, I'm going.
Please forgive us. No. 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 No can do. No can do. We are in our rightful mind. We're in our right minds. There will be no forgiveness for this. None whatsoever. Let's play another one.
Pay now for what an ancient ancestor, somebody who maybe had an ancestor 7 or 8 generations ago, why should they have to pay now for what an ancient ancestor did? Or why should they apologize? Somebody who maybe had an ancestor 7 or 8 generations ago, why should they have to pay now for what an ancient ancestor did? Or why should they apologize for what an ancestor?
Why? Because you have it in your law. You have it in your law. There are certain crimes that the statute of limitation does not honor. Murder and war crimes. And are you not guilty of that? These are your words. And you will be held accountable. You so-called white people have marveled in your wickedness and your evil doings. Smiled, taken pictures. You've even made postcards to send to one another as gifts. And you think that that's supposed to be gone unchecked, unpunished. And for you well-to-do Negroes that feel as though these people deserve a seat at the table in the kingdom, but the Lord has something for you as well. But let's just play.
Somebody who maybe had an ancestor 7 or 8 generations ago, why should they have to pay now for what an ancient ancestor did? Or why should they apologize for what an ancestor did centuries ago? Why do they still carry that burden?
Oh, it's not a burden at all. You are one of the beneficiaries of that slave trade. So this is not a burden. You should be concerned, and you should pay, because you today are still benefiting from the greatest indignity to a human being, and that is the slave trade. And not only did you benefit during the slave trade and your country developed, but look at what it caused the developing world. During slavery, resources was used to build your country, build up your capacity. You were able to then become competitive. You were able to invest in mechanization, and developing countries like ours were left behind. So you should be very concerned, because you are a prime beneficiary of the exploits of slavery.
Prime beneficiary. Let me get this real quick. Let me see, this it right here. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and verse 15, and it reads, "That which had been is now," because you still perpetrate these crimes right now. You've gotten better at it because you have the whole world under what you call adhesive laws, contracts and whatnot. So you work your magic and your deceit through that. But if all else fails, just like we're witnessing now, and the gig is up, you're willing to turn back to violence. You know, we're going to see that sooner than later. As soon as this phony money collapse, you're going to see the desperation in these rednecks over here in America. This is Ecclesiastes, 3 and 15. That which had been is now, and that which is to be had already been. And Yahweh required that which is past. So that's why you got to pay. That's why you got to pay. I want to grab another one. Let me go to the book of Numbers. I believe it is 23 and 19. Let's see. 33. Slakia. Because these jakes are really caught up in reparations and things of that sort there. Mind you, that ain't going to happen until the Lord comes over here and squares everything away. And those who have perpetrated the crime, they are made to suffer in the same sense. This is Numbers chapter 35 and 33, and it reads, it says, so ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye are, for blood it defileth the land, and the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of him that shed it. That's the reparations. You have to pay. You have to pay. This is let's see. This is Exodus 16, real quick. A few precepts. This is Exodus chapter 16. No, it's like it. This is Exodus chapter 21. I got it backwards. This is Exodus chapter 21 and verse 16, and it reads, and he that stealeth a man and selleth him, or if he be found in his hand, he shall be surely put to death. There's no statute of limitation. That's your statute of limitation right there. Exodus 21 and 1 and 16. And he that stealeth a man and selleth him, aren't you guilty of that? But you got critical race theory going on now, where you want to try to expunge that from your school lessons, from your curriculum now. And he that stealeth a man and selleth him, and if he be found in his hand, that's what that birth certificate about. Social Security cards and things. All these damn contracts. A way of keeping up with your income tax. That's all you people are to these people nowadays, including myself. An income tax to pay off the debts of these lower luminaires, because the the elites have given the charge to all of these nations to pay back debts that their countries can't pay back. Yes. So now you are held liable, holding the bag. Your children born into slavery, to utter perpetual slavery. Brand new child coming to the earth, quote unquote, owing hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. And all he has done is come in here crying. Someone is going to be made to pay for this, man. But you shallow thinking jakes, you know what I'm talking about? You well-to-do, you want to get along, you know what I'm talking about? We are the world, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. You got a very sad day that is approaching very soon. Because someone going to be made to pay for this. How the hell you got good credit scores and whatnot, and you know, this system is a fraud. When you born into debt, how do you figure that out? Wrap your mind around that. Again, Exodus 21 and 16. And he that stealeth a man and selleth him, and if he be found in his hand, he shall surely be put to death. That's your statute of limitation. Let's get Isaiah, the 14th chapter, Bible Shah, and we're gonna get it in the NLT. Isaiah 14. Let's get that out the way. Let's get it in the NLT, shall we? This is Isaiah 14, and I want to get straight to the point, because he asked the question, why should the descendants of those who did the crime, goddamn, have to do the time? Because the Lord said so. We read it in Ecclesiastes 3 and 15. The Lord requires that which is past. And your past is ever before you, you so-called white people, you Edomites. This is Isaiah 14:21, and it says, kill this man's children. Let them die because of their father's sins. Let's read it again. Isaiah 14:21 in the New Living Translation, and it reads, kill this man's children. Let them die because of the father's sins. They must not rise and conquer the earth. Ooh, these are indicators. Who has conquered the earth? They must not rise and conquer the earth, filling the world with their cities. And you can't tell New York City from Beijing, China. They all look the same. Esau has his cronies and phonies all over the planet, dressing and imitating them and everything. This is verse 22, and it reads, this is what the Lord, Yahweh of heaven's army says, I myself have risen up against Babylon. I will destroy its children and its children's children, says the Lord. The Lord said he's going to destroy your children and your children's children, says the Lord. This is, I'm going to stay in the NLT. And I'm going to go to the book of Revelations real quick. We're going to ready to close it out. I just want to touch on a few precepts because they threw out the question, so felt obligated to answer it. Felt obligated through the Spirit to answer it. This is Revelations, the 13th chapter, and verse 9, and it reads, anyone with ears to hear should listen and understand. Anyone who is detested from prison, disdained from prison, will be taken to prison. Matter of fact, you know what? No, let's get it in the I don't like that one. Let's get it in the blue letter. Revelations 13th chapter, verse 9, it reads, if any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. Why should we have to pay? That's what that white man said, right? Verse 10, Revelations 13th chapter. He that leadeth into captivity. Has not these white folks led us into captivity by way of help of these other nations? Yes, they have. And they're going into captivity. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Ain't no might, ain't no maybe, down the road, and it might happen. He must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience, and that word patience goes into suffering, and the faith of the saints, the people of the Lord, man. There's no statute of limitation on crimes, especially war crimes. We are criminals. I mean, we are held in prisons by war criminals. These nations are going to be made to pay, beginning with Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. Let's read it again. Statute of limitations, definitions, types, and examples. A statute of limitations is a law that defines the maximum amount of time in which parties involved in disputes must initiate legal proceedings following an alleged offense. The duration of the statute of limitation varies depending on the nature of the offense and the location of the jurisdiction. And it reads, the law applies to both civil and criminal. So they have robbed the world. They have robbed us of our riches. They have plundered the temples. And we be in those temples of gold and silver. The Lord said that he gonna make a man more precious than gold. He's gonna put us through the furnace of affliction and sift out those impurities until he see his image in that block of gold. So his temple has been plundered. The land of Israel has been plundered and scattered through all the four corners of the planet Earth. So this civil, the statute of limitation applies to this civil suit that the Lord has with these other nations, beginning with Esau, Edom, and the criminal faction of it as well. The law applies to both civil and criminal cases, more serious offenses such as murder or war crimes. He that killeth must be killed with the sword. Often have no statute of limitations. The Lord requires that which is past. It is also applied in civil law to matters like consumer debt. And guess what? Esau, Edom used to call white folks, you are owed a debt. You owe a debt, Slocky. You owe a debt. Whether the debt becomes time-beared debt after the statute of limitation has passed. Lord willing, it was edifying. I'm going to close out by giving infinite honor and praise to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honors are given up to the elder apostle, great millstone. And that's the reason why you must pay. There is no statute of limitation on the war crimes or the civil suit that the Lord is bringing against you, Esau, Edom. With that, shalom.